last thing I do want to talk about, Deontay Johnson spoke to the media yesterday, and he said in the most humble fashion, and I believed him when he said that. Like, he stopped and he's like, in the most humble way possible, these are my goals for 2023. He's looking for an all-pro appearance, Pro Bowl selection, which would be his second of his career, over 1,000 catches, or 1,000 yards, excuse me. He wants to be top 10, top 5 in the league, anywhere around there. And he believes that he's got all the skill sets to do it. He thinks he's got Kenny Pickett, who's able to help him do that. You look at Deontay Johnson this year. I mean, it was a down year last year, but it's really hard to have a good year with the quarterback play and the offensive coordinator play that the Steelers had a year ago. Obtainable goals for Deontay Johnson. You think you think this is the year that this guy turns into a true-blooded superstar?
I don't know about superstar, but I think a lot of these goals are pretty obtainable. The All-Pro one, that's pretty lofty, but 1,000 yards on Pro Bowl, absolutely. Like, Deontay is absolutely good enough to do that stuff. Uh, I felt like a lot of what held him back last year was not, oh, this guy like is not capable of being a starting wide receiver in the NFL. It's that he was, I don't know, just not finishing plays. I guess like
Yeah, not finishing plays.
there were
Had
little
a really rough quarterback situation.
Yeah, there were little mental errors too. Like I get it, the quarterback play was bad, but I was not a fan of Deontay last year, and
Yeah,
I thought there was a lot of room for improvement. But there were really fine lines, I think, between him looking a lot better than he did last year and looking the way he did. Like if he hauls in like one or two or even three of those like wide open touchdowns that he had like
yep,
in his
dropped.
hands at certain points last year, like we're talking about this guy in a completely different fashion.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't think this is a or too lofty of goals for a guy like Deontay Johnson. There's a lot of talent there, and I think he should take a step forward with some improved quarterback play, and then just also feel like cleans up some of the silly stuff that he did last year.
Yeah, I agree. If this is it, like this is year 5, this is the ball out year. You want to solidify yourself as one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. This is how you're going to do it. You want to win over the fans. This is how you're going to do it. I think the biggest thing for Deontay Johnson is to just not try to do too much this
Yeah.
season. Like just, have all these goals. Awesome. If the offense flows beautifully and it has all the pieces to flow beautifully outside of an offensive coordinator, you'll get your touches. You'll get your receptions. You are the most open wide receiver in football statistically. You'll get your chances. Like it'll all come. It's at that point, it's just about making the most of it. I think that was the biggest thing. Like towards the end of Ben's career, it was just like it was constant, just Deontay Johnson, Deontay Johnson, Deontay Johnson, and it was really nice to see. It was cool, but you never got to see Deontay like take that next step because you looked at it and just said he's the only one that a defense has to worry about. Like he could only run 5-yard outs because he's not a deep threat and they're always going to double team him after he goes 5 yards out. Like that's just what's going to happen. This year, you can't even think about double teaming anybody in Pittsburgh. You can't because if you double team George Pickens, Deontay Johnson's open. If you double team Deontay Johnson, you're an idiot because George Pickens is going to be open. Oh, you're trying to double team them both? Allen Robinson's going to be open. Oh, forgot about Calvin Austin. What about Pat Freiermuth? 6'7" Darnell Washington. Jalen Warren could catch footballs out of the bathroom. Or out of the backfield. Connor Hayward, we don't even know what he's going to do or what position he's going to play, but he could catch footballs. Zach Gentry, possibly Anthony McFarland. Like there's so many weapons here that the Steelers have that as long as Kenny clicks and as long as this offensive game plan is good, you'll get. I think George and Diontae and maybe even Allen Robinson all have shots at 1,000-yard seasons. All have shots at 5+ touchdowns. Like just the opportunities are endless. And I think as it goes on, the biggest thing here is like, those are good goals to have. And I respect the hell out of Diontae for having those goals. But at the same time, like, I think if the season ended and he looked at the stat chart and he was at 1,000 yards, George was at 1,000 yards, and like Pat Freiermuth was at like 800 yards and 10 touchdowns, he'd be like, that was exactly what I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
Like that is as good as it gets for this offense, because that's the weapons there are crazy that it's like, I don't know, maybe you're not going to make all pro, but like You guys could have a really, really good season.
Right, like, and it's there'll be certain things that, like, if Deontay does them, if the team does certain things, you'll be able to say
Yeah.
Deontay had a great season without, making a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro team.
Yes. 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 You got to cut down on the drops. Can't be doing the drops. This is the year the drops got to end.
Yep.
In my opinion, like, you have 2, 3 drops this season. Totally fine. It happens to everybody. You have 10 drops or a drop in a big moment. You drop any touchdowns
Yeah,
at all. You're just not going to overcome it. Like, this is the year where it's like people have slapped a label on you. If you could beat it, this is the year you're going to beat it. If you don't beat it this year, that's your label.
yeah,
Like, Steelers fans are never going to like you enough because you're not reliable enough. And that's, it's a big year for Deontay Johnson, like a
absolutely.
super, super big year for Deontay Johnson. But at the same time, like, I think that Deontay Johnson is the best wide receiver in Pittsburgh. I think he's one of the best wide receivers in football, like, lower half of the top 15, but still, in my opinion, in the top 15, and has the ability to get better. Like, I don't think last year helped at all, both ways, his play and the quarterback play. But if things click, like, this is the best team Deontay Johnson's ever been on. This is possibly the best quarterback that Deontay Johnson's ever played with. Because Ben 2 years before he retired was unstoppable. Like that was a great quarterback. That
Mhm.
was the 11-0 year, I believe.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah,
2 years. Yeah, like that was ridiculous. That offense was just crazy, and the defense was even better. Ben's last year, that was
it was not good.
yeah, like
It was not
it was
good.
not good. It was a terrible offense. It was an absolutely atrocious offense. And then last year he had to deal with all the stuff that happened in route to the 9-8 finish and Kenny Pickett and so on and so forth. So the last 2 years have not been favorable for Deontay Johnson. So you come in here, the opportunity has certainly presented itself well.
Absolutely. Yeah, big year. And I think he's not that far away from realizing all this potential that he has.